वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते 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 वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमः शिवाय।
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 गुरु ब्रह्मा
गुरु ब्रह्मा
गुरु विष्णु
गुरु विष्णु
गुरुदेवो
गुरुदेवो
महेश्वरः
महेश्वरः
गुरु साक्षात्
गुरु साक्षात्
परब्रह्म
परब्रह्म
तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः।
गुरवे नमः।
ध्यानमूलं
ज्ञानमूलं
गुरोर्मूर्तिः
गुरोर्मूर्तिः
पूजामूलं
पूजामूलं
गुरोर्पदं
गुरोर्पदं
मन्त्रमूलं
मन्त्रमूलं
गुरोर्वाक्यं
गुरोर्वाक्यं
मोक्षमूलं
मोक्षमूलं
गुरुकृपा।
गुरुकृपा।
आत्मदर्शनम्
आत्मदर्शनं
ब्रह्मदर्शनम्
ब्रह्मदर्शनम्
आत्मदर्शनम्
आत्मदर्शनं
ब्रह्मदर्शनम्
ब्रह्मदर्शनं
ब्रह्मदर्शनम्
ब्रह्मदर्शनं
सत्यदर्शनम्
सत्यदर्शनं
सत्यदर्शनम्
सत्यदर्शनं
नानु ನಾನೆಂಬುದು ನಾನಲ್ಲ ಈ ದೇಹ ಮನ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ನಾನಲ್ಲ ಸಚಿದಾನಂದಾತ್ಮ ಶಿವನಾನು ನಾನೇ ಶಿವೋಹಂ ಶಿವೋಹಂ हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम। Slowly open your eyes. My pranams to all Atma Jyotis, divine light of the self. On this auspicious occasion of celebration of Sri Krishna Janmashtami, let us contemplate on life and teachings of Sri Krishna. All of us have celebrated Janmashtami yesterday. What is the significance of life of Sri Krishna? What is the significance of the teachings of Krishna in our life? Let us contemplate on these aspects. Sri Krishna says about his life in this shloka. Just repeat with me. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha tyaktva deham पुनर्जन्म नैति मामेति सोऽर्जुन. This is the shloka in Bhagavad Gita which tells about Janma and Karma of Krishna. Janma karma cha me divyam. My birth and actions are divine in nature. Birth of Sri Krishna and actions of Sri Krishna are divine in nature. One who understands this, yo vedti tattvadaha, one who understands the birth and actions of Sri Krishna will not be taking birth again. Punarjanma he doesn't take. He doesn't take another birth. He will attain me alone. This is the shloka. A very strange proclamation where Sri Krishna says, one who knows the birth and the actions of Sri Krishna will not take another birth but attains Krishna. How is it possible? If I know my birth and my action, possibly I may become something. But how is that? How is it possible? By knowing the birth and actions of Krishna, I become free. By knowing your own life, your own birth and your own actions, probably you will become free. But Krishna says the other way. By knowing his birth, his life, you will become free. Why is that so? There is a difference in the way we are born and the difference in the way Krishna is born. Krishna is called an incarnation or avatara. Avatara means the higher consciousness coming down to the earth. When a higher consciousness comes to the earth, in the form of a divine child called Krishna, the child is fully aware. It doesn't come out of ignorance. Child is not born in ignorance. Child is born in full wisdom and awareness. Whereas an ordinary human being is born out of ignorance, born in ignorance, and lives in ignorance. A divine child, an avatara Purusha, is born in wisdom, lives in wisdom, and passes away from this earth in wisdom. So the difference between the life of an enlightened being, the life of a divine avatara, is life of wisdom and life of ignorance. This is the difference between a common man and Krishna. One more aspect of life of Krishna, birth of Krishna, is the Atma, the pure consciousness, the supreme reality, is never born and never dies. There is no birth and death for the supreme consciousness which Krishna represents, the higher consciousness which Krishna represents. So then how come we are celebrating Janmashtami? How come we are celebrating the birthday? Whose birthday is that? The Paramatma is never born, never dies. Sri Krishna in the form of Paramatma also is birthless and deathless. Then whose birthday, what birthday are we celebrating? It is actually Sri Krishna Janmashtami is not the birthday of Sri Krishna. It is the day of appearance of Sri Krishna. The day Sri Krishna appeared on this earth is called Janmashtami. So this is the birth of a higher consciousness. Higher consciousness never is born. The supreme reality or Paramatma is never born, never dies, but appears on the earth moment, time to time, for evolution of consciousness of the humankind. So Krishna's birth is not a birth in an ordinary sense. Then if I know Krishna's birth, how will my situation change? Krishna says, if I know my birth, your life will change. How is it possible? I do not know that you know that Krishna is not born. How is your life changed? In reality, you are also birthless and deathless. You are also the same supreme consciousness who has appeared on this earth. The difference between that consciousness called Krishna and consciousness called you is, you are unaware of your birth as an individual. You identify with the body and mind and think that you are born on such and such a date to such and such a parents. Whereas Sri Krishna has no such illusion of being born. His pure appearance on the earth plane. If you know that your birth is also out of ignorance, in reality you are not born, in reality you don't die, because you are a pure consciousness, you will become free. So Sri Krishna says, you know my birth, then you may understand your birth also, then you can become free. That is the meaning of Krishna's birth. Janma karma cha me divyam. If you know Krishna's birth, you will become free. In the sense that Krishna, even though he appeared on the earth, to appear on the earth, you need to take an instrument called body-mind complex. But even if you take the instrument called body-mind complex, even if Sri Krishna took body-mind complex, he never identified with the body-mind complex. The difference between Krishna and we, human beings, is that we identify with the body-mind complex and we forget our divine nature, which is Krishna consciousness itself. So know the birth of Sri Krishna. This is the message of Bhagavad Gita. Know about the birth of Sri Krishna, then you will become free. Krishna was born in a dark place, prison, born in darkness. Most of us, or all of us, are also born in darkness. Nobody takes a birth in light except today in the hospital where the cesarean is taking place, where the baby bright lights are there. The child is born in light. But we are not speaking of that light, of physical light. We are always speaking of the darkness of ignorance. So Krishna is also born into the darkness. The physical plane is a plane of darkness. The moment you are born, you forget your true identity, which is pure consciousness, and start identifying with the physical body-mind complex. Krishna also is born in similar circumstance, in darkness, even though it is told in the form of a story that he is born in a prison in darkness, Ashtami Thidi. Okay? The darkness also metaphorically is darkness of ignorance, which says, like any other child, Sri Krishna also is born into darkness, but he is of the light, nature of light. He is of the nature of awareness, whereas human beings are also of the nature of darkness, even though they are born in darkness. The birth is similar in both conditions, but awareness is different in these two circumstances. The awareness of light is there in Sri Krishna, and the awareness of light is not there in other persons. Sri Krishna is also born in the prison of Kamsa. So, the guards are there who are watching, waiting for the child to be born, only to be killed. The prison also represents the prison of our heart. Our heart is the prison which is guarded well by the servants of Kamsa. The Kamsa represents the ego, the ignorant mind, which prevents the birth of the divine consciousness in us. The Janmashtami is the day where Sri Krishna appeared on the earth. Janmashtami is the day when child Krishna is born in your heart, when the guards of Sri Krishna are sleeping, guards of Kamsa are sleeping momentarily. So the birth has to happen in your heart. That is the purpose of celebrating Janmashtami. So many times we confuse different Krishnas. There are three levels of understanding any spiritual story, any Puranic story in India. The physical understanding, the metaphysical understanding, and spiritual understanding. Any story has three levels of meaning. The physical understanding of Krishna is that Krishna was born, Krishna was a historical figure who was born 5050 years back in a place somewhere in UP. That is the birth of historical Krishna. There is called historical meaning or physical level interpretation of birth of Krishna. Then there is second level of interpretation of birth of Krishna, which is actually Adi Daivika or play of divine beings. So Sri Krishna is born as an avatar of Vishnu or descent from the Vishnu, which is godly consciousness. So physical meaning and metaphysical meaning, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika. But most important to us is Adhyatmika or spiritual meaning of birth of Krishna. The spiritual meaning of birth of Krishna is related to my own self, our own life. So the story of Krishna and so all other stories of Purana has to be interpreted and understood in three ways: the physical, metaphysical, and spiritual. If you are stuck with the physical, you are stuck with historical Krishna. It won't help you to evolve. History is important for historians. History is something to learn lessons from. If you are stuck with the metaphysical meaning of Krishna, then you are stuck with the external worship or rituals. If you understand the spiritual meaning of Krishna, Krishna's birth, you will evolve because that is related to you. Even though the Supreme Reality is never born, Paramatma is never born, but you live under the impression that you are born because of ignorance of your divine nature. The day you understand your divine nature, that you are also birthless and deathless reality, that is the day of Janmashtami in your life. Spiritual birth of you is called Janmashtami. So there are three levels of understanding: Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik, Adhyatmik. Physical, metaphysical, and spiritual. So all these three, out of all these three, the physical, or what you call as Adi Bhautik, the birth of Krishna, which happened 5025 years back or 5050 years back, is important for us to understand the life of an enlightened being or avatar Purusha on the earth. That becomes our reference to find out where we are and to correct our consciousness to attain that higher consciousness. So the day you understand, you realize the divine birth of Sri Krishna in your heart, in the prison called the heart, that day is Janmashtami in your life. So how does that happen? Janma karma cha me divyam yo vetti tattvataha. The birth and actions of me are divine in nature. One who understands yo vetti tattvataha, one who understands the principle behind the birth and birth of the divine will become free. So most of us don't know the principle behind the birth, but we know the stories of birth. Understand? We know Ramayana, Mahabharata very well, but we don't know the principles of those stories. Tattvataha means principle. You have to go from the story, metaphor, to the essential principle behind those stories. So that doesn't deny the birth of a Sri Krishna as historical figure. Sri Krishna was their historical figure. But what is most important is that how do I evolve because of the birth of Sri Krishna? That is the theme of discussion today. In the darkness of the night, in the ignorance, in a prison called heart, Sri Krishna can be born when the assistants or the servants of the ego called Kamsa are asleep. So that is Janmashtami. Janma karma cha me divyam. The birth and the actions of Sri Krishna are divine in nature. Sri Krishna, an enlightened being, avatar Purusha, is not born because of the karmic bondage, the pull of karma. The pull of past life karma is not there for Sri Krishna. He is born with the clear consciousness, with the purpose, in full awareness. Whereas ordinary human beings are born not with the choice, but because of the force of karma. Okay? So there is a difference between the birth of Sri Krishna and birth of human beings. The force of karma is which takes you from one womb to other womb and makes you take birth after birth. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani, jatare shayanam. Again and again we take birth in the womb of the mother because of the pull of our karma, which is a compulsion, which is a force which acts on us, and we are not born out of freedom. Whereas the enlightened being, a Purushottama or Paramatma, is born out of full freedom with the purpose of Loka Kalyana. Why are you born? You are born out of karmic pulls to fulfill your unfulfilled karmic impressions. The Loka Kalyana is secondary for you, Paramatma. Loka Kalyana is the primary, the Avatar Purusha. So if you understand the difference between the birth of you and Krishna, you will understand or focus on dropping the karmic linkages and karmic bondages to become free. That is the birth of Krishna. A birth which out of total free will, total awareness. Whereas ordinary human birth is in total ignorance and because of the pull of karma. This is the janma of Bhagavan, Krishna. Whereas the ordinary human being's birth is to fulfill his karmic desires, Shri Krishna's birth, which is actually in reality appearance, is for the upliftment of the world, dharma samsthapanarthaya cha, and also to take care of his devotees, people who are seeking the divine in their life. For them Shri Krishna was born. The Gopikas, the Arjuna, many other people who were seeking the appearance of the divine in their life were waiting for that. To fulfill their desires, Krishna takes a body and appears on this world. So Sri Krishna Janmashtami is not a Janmashtami or a birthday celebration like an ordinary child. It's an appearance day for the Sri Krishna. Janma karma cha me divyam. The karma is also divya. The way Sri Krishna lives his life, actions are divine in nature. They are very, very different from the way you or the way ordinary human beings act. What is the difference? What is the difference between Sri Krishna and other ordinary beings? We have heard of many, many, many enlightened beings, not only just Krishna. There are Buddha, Mahavira, okay? The Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, many other enlightened beings have come. What is the difference between Sri Krishna and other enlightened beings? So there are ordinary human beings, millions and billions of them are born. What is the difference between them and Sri Krishna in terms of their action? Sri Krishna is very, very, very different. Very, very different from any of the other enlightened beings whom you know, whom you can understand. Karma cha me divyam. Actions are very divine in nature. Now we are looking at Adi Bhodika Krishna. Krishna was born 5500 years back. His actions were very different from other beings. How is that different? How is that different? How is the actions are different? There are three types of actions which Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Karma, akarma and vikarma. There are three types of actions are possible. Karma, akarma, vikarma. Karma means to do something. Okay? Karma means to do something. When there is a feeling of doership, whenever you do something, the result will come back to you. There is a doership in you, and the action will result in the karma phala in you. So most of the people live with the understanding that I am the doer. Kartaham, I am the doer. When there is no concept of I am doer, okay, that is not a karma, that's akarma. The doership concept is not there. For example, a child kicks you. A small child, baby, kicks at the mother. Mother will not feel hurt. Why? The child has no doership at all. Child doesn't know that I am doing something. Child is innocent. It has no concept of doership. But if somebody else kicks you, even though it doesn't pain you, it hurt. Oh, that person kicked me. Because that person has a doership, and the person with the doership, when he does, you get hurt. The child has no concept of doership at all. Right? First time of action is karma. Akarma. Akarma means non-doership. Karma means doership. Vikarma means a happening. Neither there is a doership, nor there is a doer, but happening. For example, there is a sunrise. Who is doing it? Nobody. It's a happening. What about your breathing? It's a happening. What about your thinking? What about your heartbeat? What about your pulse? All these are happening. They are not doing. There is neither a concept of doership, nor a concept of non-doership, but a concept of happening. It's a pure happening. That's called vikarma. Karma, akarma, vikarma. Which category does Krishna belong to? Karma, akarma, vikarma. Where is Krishna in these three? Akarma, karma, vikarma. Okay, where do you belong? Which category do you belong? All of us, when we perform an action, there is a concept of doership in us. We cannot perform any action without a concept of doership. Is it true? I do. I only did that. I am doing it. Is that concept there in you? Can you do anything? Yes or no? So that is called karma, and that becomes the bondage in your life. If you are able to perform actions as akarma, the way Sri Krishna did, then you will be free from all karmic bondages and you will get liberated. All actions performed in the form of a non-doer. From a doer to non-doer is action. This is akarma. But how is that possible here? How is that possible to perform any action as a non-doer? So that is the secret of life of Sri Krishna. Krishna, the life of Sri Krishna is called Krishna Leela, the play of Sri Krishna. If you are able to act in the world as a play, but not as a serious affair, you will become free. But for all of your actions, you are always very serious. You want this to happen. I want that to happen. I want this to happen. The whole of your Krishna's life was a play for him. The entire life of Sri Krishna was a play. Is your life very serious for him? How are you living your life? Very serious? Huh? Mechanical, serious. Krishna lived his entire life as a play. In a play, you are not worried about the outcome. To play is important. Not today's cricket matches and football matches where money at the end result, you have to win. Match fixing. Okay? It is not that kind of play. A playful nature is you are not very serious about the outcome, but you are very committed to play. From an outcome-oriented life to action-oriented life is life of Krishna. Krishna was, even though he was a non-doer, he was always in action. He was always full of action. The focus is, our life has become very serious because we focus on the outcome and become very serious about it. Whereas Sri Krishna's life is focused on the action, not on the outcome. Very committed action, not on the outcome. When your actions are committed, the results will come, most beautiful result will come. Whereas when we are focused on the outcome, the action may get disturbed. So this is the life of Sri Krishna. The life as a play, that is what Krishna did. It is like an actor. A great actor acts the role of a thief, acts the role of a policeman, acts the role of a hero, acts the role of villain. But whatever role he plays it very well. Okay? But he is not bothered about the role, what happens to the role, because he knows very well that it's a play. How are you playing your life? How are you acting out in your life? Please tell me. Very, very serious about outcome. Krishna was not at all serious. But he was always responsible. Most of time we are the other way. We are very serious and irresponsible. Krishna was taking total responsibility, but always not serious. So this is the difference in the life of Sri Krishna, karma action of Sri Krishna and other people's action. It is very, very difficult for people to understand Krishna. Everybody else can be understood fully, easily. One-dimensional life can be understood very easily. Sri Krishna is a multi-dimensional life. Many, many dimensions to life. Very difficult to comprehend, very difficult to understand Sri Krishna. That's why people only take up one aspect of Krishna and apply in their life, rather than taking Krishna in totality. Krishna is called Purnavatara, which means Avatara means divinity. Avatara means higher consciousness coming down to earth. Purnavatara means all aspects of higher consciousness appeared in Krishna. Whereas Rama was called Purushottama. Okay? He was the best among the humans. Whereas Sri Krishna is called the perfect divinity. What is the difference between Rama's life and Sri Krishna's life? Rama had all rules and regulations, boundary and framework. As a son you have to behave like this, as a king you have to behave like this, as a husband you have to behave like this. Okay? As a friend you have to behave like this. He never violated a single line of action. Sri Krishna had no boundaries at all. Whatever boundary you draw falls in front of Krishna. As a child, as a lover, as a politician, as a teacher, as a human being, as a friend, Krishna had no boundaries at all. He was always free from any concept of boundaries. Krishna represents the infinite consciousness, which unbounded consciousness, which all of us can attain in this life. That's why Sri Krishna says, if you know my life and my birth, you will also attain me. Means attain your Krishna's consciousness, not after death, but while you are alive. That is called Jivan Mukti, freedom. Krishna's consciousness can be understood and realized when you are alive. That is possible when you understand life and actions of Krishna, not just stories of Krishna. The essential meaning of the stories of Krishna, if you understand, you will become free. Have you understood the stories, essential meaning of stories of Krishna? Each action of Krishna represents one aspect of divinity in full play. That's why Sri Krishna is called Purnavatara. Sri Krishna has all the dimensions what a completely evolved human being can be. He is a musician, he is a dancer, he is a yogi, he is a lover, he is a politician, he is a friend, okay? He is deadly enemy. What aspect of Krishna is missing? What personality is missing in Krishna? Please tell me. He is proponent of peace and he is the finest warrior. Most of us, all these are conflicting. If you are peaceful, you cannot be a warrior. If you are spiritual, you cannot be materialistic. So we have split life into two dimensions. This is a misnomer or wrong understanding in spiritual life. One day, I was conducting a class of Bhagavad Gita in some place. One person came to me and asked, "You are called Prabhuji. Who gave you the title called Prabhuji?" Are Baba, nobody gave me the title called Prabhuji. My father's family name is Prabhu, so I am also called Prabhu. And some people add G because Sardarji, Prabhuji, all G's they are. So they call me Prabhuji. So that guy was looking like this. Oh my God! Oh, nobody called to give you a title called Prabhuji? Okay, wonderful. You are conducting Bhagavad Gita class? Yes, I do. Okay. So are you married? Yes. Do you have children? Yes. Do you go to office and work? Yes. Then how come you conduct classes like this? And that person didn't sit for the class, he went away. His concept is somebody to be spiritual, okay? Many qualifications are there. One is he should be depressed in life. Okay. He should be totally depressed in life so that you run away from life. Okay. Second qualification is you should be unmarried because marriage is some terror. Okay. Marriage is bondage. The third thing is at least you should be not in the job. Either they throw you out of job or you should be such a hopeless case that you can't perform job. Okay. Then of course, without being a monk, you cannot talk on Bhagavad Gita. You have a special qualification required is you should be a monk. My dear fellows, my dear Atmajodhis, spirituality means none of this. That's the best role model and example is Krishna. He is the yogi of yogi, Yogeshwara. And he had only married only 16,008 women. Okay? A spirituality and life cannot be separated out like that. There are two categories of people on the earth. One category of people called materialists and other category of people called spiritualists. Materialists and spiritualists. What is a materialist? Materialist says matter alone is reality, consciousness is not a reality. Okay? The spiritualist says spirit alone is reality, matter is an appearance, illusion. So both have a problem. Both have a big problem in life. The materialist lives the life of an animal because he keeps on looking for happiness in the matter, exploitation of the matter in various ways, disrespect or life itself is not respected because matter alone is reality. Life becomes miserable if not for him, all people around him. He exploits every situation to the best advantage because matter alone is the reality. Then there are other category of people who say spirit alone is the reality. So drop matter, nothing, all these are illusion. I want to get away from this. Consciousness alone is the reality. Where do you think Krishna belongs to? He belongs to neither this category nor the other category. He says the matter and the spirit, everything is divine. You cannot draw a boundary between material life and spiritual life. The illusion of drawing a boundary between the material life and spiritual life has destroyed the spirituality in India or anywhere in the world. You say this is spiritual life, this is material life. There's no such boundary. You have only one life. Don't cut it into two pieces called material life and spiritual life. Spirituality is not searching for the spirit somewhere, not running away from matter. You have to understand the relationship between the matter and the spirit, the consciousness and the matter. Matter is an appearance in the consciousness, it's made up of consciousness. Consciousness and matter cannot be separated out. That's why Upanishad declare Sarvam Khalu Ida Brahma, everything is consciousness. But our mind splits into two, the matter and consciousness. And those who call spiritualists, they run after consciousness. Those who call materialists, they run after materials. Whereas Sri Krishna, he says, everything is divine. Don't draw a boundary line. That's why for a spiritual person we have do's and don'ts. Follow brahmacharya. Don't get married. Okay? Go away from life. Why? As if life is not spiritual. So, the problem is there in our understanding of spirituality. Don't split the whole life, one life, into matter and spirit. Consider the entire life as divine. The consciousness is the primary, matter is an appearance in consciousness. So don't live for matter, live in consciousness, but live as consciousness, everything as consciousness. That's what his realization is about. So this is what Sri Krishna is about. That's why nobody can understand Krishna well. So all the monks will say, Krishna, okay, he is a teacher. The teaching aspect of Krishna becomes very important. The lover aspect of Krishna is sidelined. If Krishna is lover, they forget. Because they have become monks now. They have left life, left marriage and family and all. Rather, focus on lover aspect of Krishna. Krishna is a lover. Krishna is my master, the lover. She doesn't worry about the warrior aspect of Krishna. That's very dangerous. Surdas focuses on the child aspect of Krishna because he cannot conceptualize the Krishna as the lover, Krishna as the warrior. It's very difficult for him. But Krishna is all in all, one in all. That we forget. So if you understand Krishna, we attain Krishna consciousness. That is the day you celebrate spiritual Krishna Janmashtami. Otherwise, you have to be satisfied with physical Sri Krishna Janmashtami, which is birth of historical Krishna. So decide which celebration you want to have in your life. The life is always full of shades of color, the black and the white, the light and the darkness, the good and the evil, the positive and the negative, the hot and the cold. Normally, all human beings choose between these two and say, this is good, this is bad. This aspect of life where there is a positive and negative or the contrast is called dualism. Dualism means the creation requires the contrast. Creation requires the opposite, otherwise there is no creation. If you have only white paint, you cannot create a painting. You need a black paint and white paint to create a painting. You need colors to create the painting. But the dualism becomes duality the moment you identify one aspect of painting and say this other aspect is right or wrong. The judgmental life. Sri Krishna was non-judgmental. He embraced total life. That is non-dual life. Either you say this is a painting and get away from it, which is actually rejection or renunciation, or say this entire thing is a painting, whatever aspect of painting is there, I will experience that painting and live that life. Good or bad, positive or negative, I will accept life in totality. That is what Krishna is about. Accept life in totality. Then you say, what is the difference between my life and Krishna's life? I also live like that. Do you? Do you have a choiceless life? When there is a problem in life, you experience